Do you struggle to keep your hands warm while hiking or backpacking on multi-day trips? Do you ever wonder what other backpackers wear for their glove systems? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you all my glove setups for every season, including summertime, the fringe or shoulder seasons. That's the fall and spring months when the weather is starting to get a little more inclement in nature. And then also the winter time for those diehards in the snow camping. So let's get started. So what gloves do I bring in the summer? Well, I don't know about you, but gloves really aren't needed that much in the summertime. But perhaps when the temperatures drop at night, like hiking in the desert, or the sporadic thunderstorms that pop up in the afternoon for an hour or two, the cold winds and that chilly rain. So I always bring two pairs of gloves in the summer. The first is just a brush-tail possum mitt, really lightweight, easy to sleep in, grabs the hiking poles well, and that's it for that. And then if the thunderstorms come in, I have a rain mitt. And I like to wear these by themselves, not over the other mitt, because they do wet out. But these are great to shed a little bit of water and protect your hands from those winds. And your hands do get clammy inside while you're hiking, but they do stay a lot warmer. So these really lightweight rain mitts work really well. So that's my summer setup. And let's move on to the shoulder seasons. Shoulder seasons, or fringe seasons, are the fall and spring months where most people hang up their packs to the following summer. But for me, it's my favorite time to hike. There's way less crowds, there's no bugs, and the lighting with the low sun angle makes for fantastic scenery on the trail. However, the weather could be a lot more dicey. Day and nighttime temperatures are certainly going to be colder. The duration of rain and wind is going to be longer. And add wind to the equation, you definitely need to have a different glove setup for these conditions. So over the years, I've tried a lot of different gloves in these conditions, and I found two pairs that work really well. And let me show you. When it's not raining, I bring a glove similar to my mitt that I wear in the summer, but this is a 5-finger wool blend, a little heavier material by Outdoor Research. It's Outdoor Research Flurry Sensor Glove, and it's very warm, and I can use this to hike in, sleep in. The trick is just keep them dry. And another benefit of these gloves, this model, is they're cell phone compatible, which is great when you're navigating with your phone. You can keep these on, and they work well with a cell phone. But when it's raining, we have to step it up a notch. Keeping your hands warm in cold rain and wind is definitely a challenge while hiking. But what I found that works really well are these winter rubber work gloves that you can find at your local hardware store, and they work incredibly well. They're completely waterproof with a rubber outside with a little grip surface here. And the inside has a really nice felt, so they're really comfortable when you're wearing them. They'll keep your hands completely dry and warm, but you just got to be aware of not sweating too much. So you got to manage that sweat. Besides that, these are a game changer on the trail when you're hiking in cold rain and windy conditions. I apologize for my voice, but I'm just getting over a cold. But I hope you're really enjoying this video, and I hope you're finding it informative. So if you are, please like and subscribe to my channel. And I'd like to wrap this up and move on to the winter glove system. Lastly, for us winter camping diehards, keeping our hands warm in extreme cold conditions is essential. We're not concerned about rain, we're definitely more concerned about the cold and the frigid wind chill effects in the frozen landscape. We do have to be concerned about moisture from sweat, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But to mitigate these conditions, I bring along 5 pairs of gloves. Yes, 5 different pairs. First is my glove liner. This is a really lightweight, basic glove liner. Merino wool or synthetic materials work fine. I tend to go to the synthetic material, prefer that because it manages your sweat better. It's better, they dries faster. And this is the foundation of my winter glove system. I rarely take this one off, and I use this when I'm snowshoeing or exerting energy, hiking up trails. And then it breathes pretty well and dries fast, like I mentioned, to manage that moisture. And it's the first layer. Next, if it gets a little colder, I bring along the 5-finger wool fleece blend glove that I use in my shoulder season hiking, and I just layer that over the liner glove. So I have 2 gloves on, and this extra layer adds a lot more warmth for those little colder conditions while I'm out on the trail or around camp, and this works for those conditions. If temperatures really start to drop, the third pair of gloves I bring are these nitrile latex-free surgical gloves to work as a vapor barrier, a VBL, basically a first layer glove that goes right over the hand, and it keeps all your moisture from coming through to your other glove system. So I'll put my other gloves on top of this, like so. It's a little hard to get in here, but once you get it in, that vapor barrier underneath will keep the sweat from coming in and soaking out and wetting out your gloves. So that nitrile surgical glove layer does wonders. Your hands might get a little clammy, but they will definitely stay warm. And most importantly, the sweat from your hands will not percolate through or saturate the actual gloves themselves. And when you get to camp, I use my fourth pair of gloves. These are leather work gloves that you can get at the local hardware store. These I actually got at REI. This is a Trailsmith leather glove. There's some nice soft fabric in the inside here. And these are great for cutting firewood, doing chores around the camp in the snow, moving hot pots. These could get, they're somewhat waterproof, but they're really good to put on temporarily when you're doing those things where you don't want to damage your other more delicate gloves that you need for insulation. So these work really well for around camp. And lastly, the big dogs, insulation gloves you need for winter camping. And I prefer the insulated vapor barrier mittens by RBH Designs. These are the warmest gloves I've ever owned and highly recommend them. They have a waterproof shell, a exchangeable insulated liner system that could be switched out. They have a felt nose wipe, which is really handy. Nice leather palms here. Idiot cords that could strap on so you don't lose them. And putting your hands in these when you're at camp and inactive are like putting your hands in mini ovens. You could put them in barehanded. You can have your other layers of your glove liner and the 5-finger wool glove on and put both those in here. Just make sure you size these up before you get them. And they are the most important pair of gloves in your system that really will protect you in those really cold conditions or even in emergencies or trailside. There you have it, a glove system for every season. Let me know what you're using to keep your hands warm throughout the year. And if you have any questions, leave the comments below and I'd be happy to try to help you out. I hope you found this useful, and if so, please subscribe to follow me for future videos. Happy trails!